Welcome back to Good Morning Oakcrest. I'm Tamika Harris. Now, I have the pleasure of welcoming Miss Joanna Guy, who is our current Miss Maryland of 2012, and she is going on to become Miss America 2013. I love that song. Welcome, Joanna.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Well,
I'm really excited to be here.
I am very glad that you're here. And today we're talking about who you are and all that you've accomplished. And actually, you're going on to compete in the Miss America pageant next month, actually. That's happening rather soon. How do you feel?
It's surreal. I won the Miss Maryland title in June, and I was telling people, oh, I'm going to compete at Miss America in January. It felt so far away, like something that's just kind of hanging out there in the distance. And now I'm leaving in less than a month. I head out to Vegas on January 2nd.
Wow.
So I better be ready.
So did you ever think in your life that this would occur in your life? This whole Miss Maryland piece, then competing to become Miss America. Did you see this in your lifetime happening?
You know, up until high school, I didn't know anything about pageants. I probably had a lot of the same misconceptions that many people have about the stereotypical pageant girl. And then I found out about the Miss America organization, about the scholarship that it offers, the performance opportunities, the opportunity for interview, and community service throughout your local, state, and national communities. So as a freshman in high school, I decided to start getting involved, and I have loved it ever since. Yeah.
Well, tell us about your background. Where are you from exactly?
I actually grew up in Appalachia. It's in western Maryland. It's as far west as you can go in the Panhandle. Deep Creek Lake, Maryland, if any other Marylanders are familiar with that area.
So far, far away.
Far, far away,
There's this princess there, right, who lives, and her name is Joanna.
Yeah.
And you grew up with what as your passion? What did you want to do when you thought about being a grown-up? What is it that you said to your mom? Mom, I want to do this when I grow up.
Well, my passion growing up has always been music. Composition specifically. I've played piano since I was 4. Also played trumpet and French horn throughout my years at school. And at Cornell, I'm a double major in government and music.
Wow. So government and music, how do you intend to use both of those in your career path?
Well, I like to think they both involve performance, right?
Absolutely.
Politics, performance, and so is music. But in all seriousness, I want to pursue a career in law. I'm really interested in property law, so I think that's what I want to do, but I probably won't figure that out until I get a JD.
Okay.
And then I would love to keep music as my passion on the side and maybe even pursue it to some small degree.
All right. So I know that you also sing.
I do.
So where does all of this musical ability come from, though?
I think my mom would ask you the same question.
Okay.
I don't know, actually. Nobody in my family is. My brother took piano lessons, but nobody in my family, even back to my grandparents, was really musical. So I guess it's just something that was a blessing to be born with.
So talk to me about the young people of today, the young folks you go to high school with. When you are, pursuing this whole role of being Miss Maryland, what is it that what is it that is going through their minds, rather? Like, are they astonished that they have a Miss Maryland in their presence? What are your peers saying to you with this whole crown and sash and position in your life now?
Well, what I would say is that I took a few years off of competing before I went to pursue my studies at Cornell. So I'm a senior there this year, and I've actually been doing the program in DC. And what I would say is my friends just know me as Joanna. And they understand Miss Maryland not as a crown and sash, but just as my job. So I travel throughout the state doing community service, advocacy, fundraising. So they understand all of those things that I'm doing rather than just seeing the glamour of it, which is certainly an aspect that comes along with it. But I don't think that they're astonished at I think they would definitely laugh if they heard anybody say that.
Well, Oakcrest is a community filled with folks who are 60-year-old and over. And when I looked at your platform, I noticed that you're very, very very much an advocate for Americans or individuals who are suffering or who have dealt with heart disease.
Absolutely.
Your grandparents have all dealt with that, all 4 of your grandparents. So tell us about your platform and what is
Sure.
it that you intend to do with it as Miss Marilyn?
Well, actually, unfortunately, a little bit over a week ago, my last grandfather passed away from congenital heart failure.
Sorry to hear that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So now all four of my grandparents have suffered from some form of heart disease or stroke. I know it's something that runs in my family. It's something that affects so many Americans and is not talked about enough. So as Miss Marilyn, some things that I've already been doing are fundraising. I helped to raise over $23,000 through an international fundraiser through my sorority Alpha Phi so far this year. And I've also been to schools speaking to elementary school students about health and the importance of incorporating exercise and diet into their daily lifestyles.
Yeah, I mean, that is something actually that's on like really like the national landscape
Oh,
when you're talking
yeah,
about health
absolutely.
and wellness because people everywhere are just so much into eating healthier,
Yeah.
knowing what's going in your body, being more aware of those things. How do you take on that in your personal life?
Yeah, I mean, it's so true. I actually read an article just the other day that for the first time in, I think, 5 major American cities, obesity rates are decreasing among children.
Really?
So, yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. I think that people like Rick Warren and Michelle Obama are taking the right steps
Yeah.
to sort of mitigate that. And personally, I like to listen to all different perspectives on how to be healthy, well-rounded, and myself just feel physically and mentally strong. And I think that that's the most important thing to leading a well-rounded lifestyle.
What are you learning particularly for yourself
Sure.
about heart disease and how are you taking that information and that knowledge and using it for your everyday well-being?
Well, certainly that your background, your genetic background, is extremely important. I think that's the one thing that I've learned throughout my life is that I have to be extremely aware that this is something that runs in my family, and I have to take proactive rather than reactive steps
Right.
to prevent it from happening to me. And my parents and I have, and my brother as well, have all incorporated this into our lifestyles. I personally don't love running, but we do. I love climbing. I love rowing. I love going on walks with my parents, being active in a variety of different ways. I've really gotten into cooking recently
Yeah.
with all different types of ingredients. So
Yeah.
I think there are really fun ways that you can incorporate healthy decisions into your lifestyle to make sure that you're taking those proactive
Yeah,
steps.
it just takes initiative and the
Exactly.
commitment to do that. So if you're just joining me, I am talking with Joanna Guy. She is our Miss Maryland 2012, and we're so delighted to have her. She's on her road to becoming Miss America. She's competing for that pageant next month, actually, in January. So we'll be watching her as she glances amongst the stars, or whatever that means. So, Joanna, why don't we talk now about Joe's Jars
Sure.
for CMNH? That is one of your initiatives.
It is.
Break it down for us. What is that all about?
Absolutely. Well, Joe's Jars is kind of an umbrella marketing campaign. It's my way of fundraising for the Children's Miracle Network, which is a series of hospitals across the United States that help sick kids. So in part of my role as Miss Maryland, I visit these hospitals, so I see firsthand these kids and their parents, what they're struggling with, and the other part of that is that I fundraise for them. So recently, under the umbrella marketing campaign of Joe's Jars, which is just the way that I put my trademark on all of my fundraising campaigns for CMN, I did a major fundraiser called Bounce Back in my community, which was a community dance project, and ended up raising, to date, close to $12,000 for the Children's Miracle Network.
That's
so far.
fantastic. Yeah. I was reading some articles, and you've made plenty of arrivals to hospitals and things like that to kind of really put a face to what you are promoting. Is that important to you?
Oh, absolutely. It's important to me because it gives me a very visceral understanding of what I'm fundraising for. And not only as far as the kids, but you see when you go to these hospitals, this is a family struggle. And the money from the Children's Miracle Network, for example, at Ruby Memorial Hospital, which is very close to my home in Western Maryland, 75% of the funds in the children's wing come from the Children's Miracle Network. And I think that is an absolutely astounding testament to what these funds do, and the funds that I'm raising are staying local. So they're going to the kids that I'm seeing in that Children's Miracle Network
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell us what else is going on in your life. I just have to know what life
Sure.
is like now for you. You know, as you're in the media, you know, you can Google you now. Things are a lot more accessible,
Yes,
if you will.
definitely.
So what is life like for Miss Maryland 2012?
Well, right now it's been extremely tiring. It's been exhausting. Like I said, I'm a senior at Cornell this year, and I did my fall semester in Washington, D.C., so I could remain in the Maryland region to do my job. I do between 4 and 5 appearances every week, which
Wow.
range from, performance to fundraising to service to interviews.
Yeah.
But I've also been doing school. So I recently just finished up my over 50-page immigration research project.
Oh my gosh.
And turned that in on Monday. So I'm feeling a little bit
So
better
where
now.
do you find the time to be Joanna the daughter, Joanna the student, Joanna Miss Maryland, you know, and then also keeping your eyes focused on becoming Miss America? There has to be a lot going on in your daily schedule.
Yeah, I think just trying not to sleep.
Yeah. Well,
No,
sleep
but
is important too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think as far as you said, all of the different things, I think the most important thing is, even though it's so multifaceted, to just try to maintain you throughout. As cliche as that might sound,
Right.
You have to be the same person as the daughter, as Miss Maryland, as a student, and that's
balance
really
it all.
that's
Yeah.
really what I've tried to do this year.
Yeah. Well, tell us about that moment in June, I
Yeah.
believe, when your name was called to
Yeah.
be Miss Maryland. What was it going through your mind at that moment? I'm sure you wanted to faint, right?
It is like that. I mean, it's very surreal. It's you almost go on autopilot, I
Yeah.
think. Obviously, joy and a little bit of fear isn't the right word, but tentative, because I realized I have this huge job. I've just undergone like this week of exhausting competition, and that wasn't even the beginning.
Right.
Because now the whole year follows, and a lot of people only see that night of competition and don't realize that Miss Maryland or Miss America or any state or local title holder is a servicewoman for an entire year.
And there is a process even before that night, like you mentioned. What is that process like?
Sure.
Tell us, give us some reality, if you
Sure,
will, to
absolutely.
the behind the scenes moments of becoming Miss Maryland.
Okay, well, as far as the Miss America organization, there are a few tiers to it. So the first is at the local level, and girls can compete for local titles, which is just regionally based. It's within their community and earn scholarships, and then they serve as that title until the state pageant.
Okay.
So then they compete at states with their local title, and if they're fortunate enough to win states, they go on to compete for Miss America.
So equate that to your role. I mean, you said that you, and then before the show we had a little chat, but
Yep.
you had another title before Miss Maryland.
I did.
What was that?
It was Miss Queen State.
So you had to get Miss Queen State before you competed for Miss Maryland.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So is that a 2-year process or monthly process? I'm still kind of fuzzy. Help me
Sure.
out here.
Absolutely. Well, the pageant itself, the Miss Queen State pageant, happened only in 2 days. The local pageant did.
I see.
But I think the process of preparing for a pageant is just really trying to be a well-rounded person. Like I said, I took several years off from competing, but in that time, I like to say, even though I wasn't competing, I was preparing, because I was doing a lot of the things that the Miss America organization requires of title holders, as far as academics go, interviewing, honing my performance skills. So I think preparing for a pageant is living your life in a well-balanced, well-rounded way.
Yeah. What do you think pageantry brings to your life? I mean, you know, because there is a story that I think is told only to the pageant winner. You know, where you really look back and you discover some jewels of knowledge and some gems of wisdom. So what has your pageantry journey taught you?
It's hard for me to even know where to begin with that.
I know, right?
So it has given me so much. It has definitely shaped the person that I am. It's projected me onto having so many to meeting so many incredible people, having all these amazing connections, having so many opportunities. But beyond that, I think it's really helped my confidence, helped my on-stage performance, helped me in a crowd of people, helped my relatability skills from children to elderly people of all ages. So I wouldn't even know how to explain that in one word or one sentence.
It's a whole new world.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it stays with you too beyond the pageant experience. It just helps you in so many facets of your life in just a plethora of ways.
One thing that I've seen a lot of queens experience too is their endurance level is tested, tried, and true. And it's tested again and again and again. And especially during that competition moment, you know, that endurance is like you said, on autopilot. It's like something, it's almost like an out-of-body experience. It really is. And, you know, I just wonder, has this experience even added character to you in your endurance and being able to say, you know what, I can do this. This may be hard, this may be a challenge, but I'm going to get through it.
You know, I was just having this conversation with my dad the other day, who's one of my best friends, and I said, after going through this year, as amazing as it is and filled with opportunities, it's hard, it's tiring, it's exhausting. I've traveled close to 6,000 miles so far this year, taking myself to appearances throughout the state. And I know that for the rest of my life, when I encounter a challenge in my job, in my family, whatever the case may be, I'll say, I did that.
Yeah.
So I know I can do this.
Yeah, and especially with a 50-page paper, right?
Right, exactly, exactly. So.
Yeah. So tell us about the journey to becoming Miss America, and you have to excuse me because I'm quite biased to you. I just know that something is going to happen with you. And I just would love it that we say here at Oakcrest, she was here before she won the crown. So what is the journey like pursuing Miss America? Are you nervous at all about what's to happen? I mean, because isn't this the Donald Trump moment, or is he Miss USA?
Yeah, exactly.
He's Miss USA.
He is, yeah. The two programs are pretty different.
Okay.
So Donald Trump runs the Miss USA organization, and then Miss America is the organization that is over 90 years old and used to be held in Atlantic City. Wow. So I think that's kind of the, it's a little bit older. It's also the largest scholarship organization for women in the world, the largest nonprofit. Distributes over $40 million of scholarship to women every year.
But do you go on from Miss America to become Miss USA?
No, you don't.
Oh,
no,
you
they're
don't.
actually totally separate. So Miss America is the scholarship organization that also has a talent competition and a little bit more of an extended interview. And then with Miss USA, there is not a talent competition, and then they go on to compete for Miss Universe. But
okay.
Miss America
excuse me
is
for not knowing
no,
that.
no, not at all. It's actually a really frequent question, and the assistants are different. There's neither one that's better than the other, but it's just, I mean, I'm too short to ever compete for Miss USA anyway, is what I like to say. But I've really loved my experience with Miss America. Enjoy it so much. Actually, you'll see the crown has 4 points on it. Yeah. They actually represent the fundamental foundation of Miss America, which is scholarship, style, success, and service.
Wonderful. So after Miss America, what else is there?
A year of service.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. A long year of service, a hard year of service. You travel over 20,000 miles a month as Miss America, both throughout the country and internationally, as a spokesperson for the organization, for the Children's Miracle Network, and for several other nonprofit organizations like the U.S. Dream Academy.
So you're ready to add more miles to your already 6,000?
Oh, I'm ready.
Plus,
I'm ready to, I think sitting on a plane will be easier than trying to stay awake behind the wheel. So.
Right, yeah. Well, you know, I'm sure you've gained a lot of friends in the community.
I have, yeah.
I don't know, even probably some celebrities, I don't know. Who has just inspired you at this point and moment in your reign?
Well, it's as far as inspiration, I had an incredible opportunity to award the medals at the National Whitewater Rafting Competition, and got to meet with several of the Olympians there.
Wow.
And then they ended up coming to DC, and I got to actually go to a Union Station event with them and meet several of the other Olympians.
Wow.
And they're inspirational to me. Their
Yeah.
level of determination and just will to succeed, and the training that they do. If anybody understands exhaustion and fatigue under pressure, it's
sure
certainly
they
them.
do.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I was very
mean,
inspired by that. I loved meeting with them. That was definitely one of my favorite appearances, and opened up one of the best
Were these
opportunities
the
that
Olympians
I've had.
from Maryland or just all over?
All over,
Yeah.
nationally, the
Wow.
United States.
I would love to meet Gabby Douglas. That's
As would I.
Yeah.
I tweet at her all the time, so
Yeah.
maybe she'll
yeah,
tweet
maybe
tweet me back
Gabby,
one day.
come on and tweet back at us,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, beyond Miss America, you know, there is still life beyond the crown. So, what is it that you intend to do in your lifetime? I know that being a JD or a lawyer is on your tab.
Yep.
Do you look forward to that at all? I'm sure you do.
I do. I love reading. I love learning. I would be thrilled to have that as my job, but I will also say that being Miss Maryland has really instilled in me a passion for service, a need to give back, but also to really be an integral part of my community and to be really involved in it. So I think that no matter what career I pursue, that's going to be something that I will need in my life,
Well,
especially after this.
Well, you're definitely a beautiful woman inside and out. I know that, you know, the crown, a lot of people say, well, it's just a beauty pageant, but I differ with that. I think that there's a lot of brain that has to go behind the beauty, and you carry both of those very well.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on
Absolutely.
Good Morning
This
Oak
was so fun.
You know, she's a new friend of ours now. And thank you so much for coming. I want to thank your family as well for making this happen.